mommies and daddies, welcome back to Momcom India. In this video, we are sharing with you the guidelines for storing milk for your babies. Nobody wants to give spoilt milk to the baby because that can turn out into any kind of infection or health problems. Hence, we get a lot of questions about what's the right procedure for storing the milk. So we thought that we'll do a video and cover this small but very important topic. Let's get started.
To watch all the videos on this channel, click on the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get regular updates from Momcom India. Let's become a big fat family soon.
So if you're somebody who is wanting to store milk, there could be two varieties of milk that you're wanting to store. One could be formula or the other could be breast milk. Let me cover the formula first and then I'll talk about breast milk. And what I'm going to share with you in this video is purely my experience basis what I understood about the guidelines and what I followed. So in terms of formula milk, it's ideally best and advisable to make it fresh. Ideally, it is not recommended to store formula milk once you make it. So the best way of making formula is you boil water, take a thermo steel flask, like we have a 1 liter Milton flask, we keep boiled water in it. Whenever we have to make formula for our baby, we pour the water, we mix the milk powder quantity as per whatever quantity we are making for our child. And once it comes to room temperature in 10-15 minutes, that's when we feed our baby. So that's the best way of using formula milk. You can keep formula milk outside at room temperature for maximum 1 hour if it is unused. It's not been tasted by the baby. You can keep it for 1 hour, and within that 1 hour your baby could be consuming it at any point of time. However, if the baby has consumed the milk, say you made 5 ounce or 150 ml of formula milk and your baby just took 2 ounce and got distracted or has left the feed, you can still reuse it for within 10-15 minutes, but after that you should really not be using it, because that's when the bacteria that gets transferred from the baby's saliva to the milk, that starts growing onto the milk and starts spoiling the milk. So 10-15 minutes reusing the formula milk, okay, but after that you should not be doing it. A lot of people believe that once you've made the formula, you can keep it in the refrigerator for up to 24 hours. But like I said, our recommendation is that you don't do that. That's what our doctor also recommended, that try sticking to fresh formula making as much as you can. Now let's talk about breast milk, and breast milk is not something that you can ideally make out fresh, although some women really try, because they know the schedule of their baby. What they would do is they would pump the breast milk 15 to 20 minutes prior to when their baby is usually hungry and give as fresh breast milk as they can to the baby. However, if you are someone who has to go to work or who has to go out for some function or anything and would be storing the milk, then what are the guidelines that you need to be cautious of, because breast milk gets spoiled very easily. The first storage guideline is that if you are storing breast milk at room temperature, you can keep it outside for max up to 2 hours. Post that, you should really not be keeping it outside at room temperature. So that's the first thing. You've pumped the milk out, you know that your baby would be hungry in the next 2 hours. It's absolutely fine to keep it outside, but beyond that it might just get sour or spoiled very easily. Number 2 is that if you think that your baby would be using it later in the day, or if you want to keep that for night feed or the next day, then you should be storing it in the refrigerator. In the refrigerator, you can store the milk up to 2 days. That's absolutely fine. However, if you feel that your baby would be, if you are creating a stock for your baby because you will be gone say for a week or longer than that, then you should be transferring that milk to the freezer instead of the refrigerator. So it shouldn't be in the fridge, it should be in the freezer. In the freezer, you keep the milk for up to 7 to 10 days is absolutely fine, but should not be going beyond that. So these are the 3 guidelines of keeping the milk at room temperature, at the fridge and at the freezer. Now, apart from these storage guidelines, what are some of the things that you should be cautious of when you are using stored milk? Number 1 is that you are never supposed to heat breast milk. So whenever you take the milk out of the fridge or the freezer, you need to thaw it and give it time to come back to room temperature. Now you can do it in multiple ways. Number one is that you take hot water, you take a mug or a bowl with hot water and put the bottle in that water. What will happen is that within 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or if it is really cold, it might take up to half an hour, the milk will come down to room temperature. Or instead of that, you could use a bottle warmer. We have been using Dr. Brown's bottle warmer and it has been working for Philips Avent, it has been working for Dr. Brown bottles, so it suits pretty much all the bottles. So you could use a bottle warmer which will bring the milk to room temperature within a few minutes, and once you start using the time, you will know that what milk you store at what temperature and how much time does it take to bring it back to room temperature. So that's when you can offer it to your baby, but you can never heat breast milk. Always remember that. Number two is that the milk, when you give it to your baby, always has to be at room temperature. If it is cold or if it is hot, chances are that your baby will understand the difference and will not want to take it. Although with Kabir our experience has been different, he has been okay with the milk being slightly warmer also versus room temperature. So we've been giving him that too, but completely depends on your baby. But it should not be very cold, otherwise it can cause a sore throat to your baby also. That's number two. Number three is never restore used milk. So if your baby has tasted the milk, and like I shared in my the video earlier, that the bacteria gets transferred from the saliva to the milk, if that has happened, the milk is now spoiled, even if it's left over. I know that it's very hard to see breast milk getting wasted, but even if it is left over, then you cannot restore it. It has to be thrown away. Number four is that always store breast milk in sterilized bottles only. So your feeding bottle and your storing bottle has to be properly sterilized bottles only, otherwise there are chances of infection. Number five is that always taste the milk before offering it to your baby. Suppose the milk has come to room temperature, just take a few drops on your hand or your palm and taste. You will get to know if the milk has turned sour or not. The best way to do it is that when you pump the milk, take a taste of it, and before you feed it to your baby, take a taste of it, so you will know the difference. That way, as a mother, you will be very sure that the milk has not turned sour. The next one is always wash and sterilize every part of the breast pump that you are using, because there is milk left in the breast pump. There is very high chance that if you use it next time without properly sterilizing it, there can be infection passing on to your baby. Sorry, but this is a different setup. I will be closing the video in this one because due to some technical issues we had to stop that video at that time. Hope you did like all the information that was shared in this video. I'll quickly show you the storage bottle that we have used. We bought a Medela breast pump, both electric and manual, and these are the storage bottles that we got with it. These show you measurements in both ounce and ml, so whatever suits you, you can keep the milk as per that measurement. I would suggest as a tip that your storage bottle should always be different than your feeding bottle, because what happens is that if the milk, if you use a feeding bottle for storage also, and if the milk comes in contact with the nipple, then it's not really convenient to use when you're feeding the baby. The nipple should be absolutely clean when you are feeding your baby. Hence, always make sure divide the bottles in a way that your feeding bottles are different and your storage bottles are different, or buy storage bottles separately. So with that said, please like the video, do comment and share how's your experience going with Momcom India. Also, any queries that you have, also do share this video with as many friends as you can, because I'm sure the milk storage is something that everybody is doing at some point, especially in the first year of their baby's life. Definitely become a part of our family by subscribing to our channel. There's a red button given below. Also, there's a bell icon that will ensure that you never miss an informative video on Momcom India. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.